And that's how the washerwoman washes her face. Now everyone stand up and try it, Luke said. You have to make all the motions. Anyone who laughs has to sit down, and the last person standing is the winner. Luke started them off with his banjo. Now sing, way down south in a wild wet place. All 26 kids started singing. Within 5 seconds, they were all laughing and falling in the sand. I guess it's a tie, Luke said, grinning. Tomorrow night, one of you can choose a song. Now let's put the fire out and head back. Not so fast, Buzzy said with a big grin on his face. Angie, tell the kids about the Shady Lake Monster. Oh, they don't want to hear about the Shady Lake Monster, Angie said, smiling at Buzzy. Yes, we do! 26 kids screamed. Oh, all right, Angie said. It was very dark now and cooler. The kids leaned closer to the fire. They got quiet as Angie began speaking. Long, long ago, a forest ranger was camping near this very lake in July. The next morning, other rangers found just his hat. The man was never seen again. The following year, again in July, another person disappeared from the banks of Shady Lake. Angie pointed out at the dark water. This went on year in, year out. Every July, a person walking near this lake would disappear. Never to be heard from again. Sometimes adults disappeared. Sometimes it was children. 2 years ago, a whole bunch of kids disappeared while camping here. Josh moaned, and someone else giggling in the dark. Anyway, Angie continued, no one disappeared last July, or some people think the monster is gone. Of course, I have my own theory. Angie leaned closer and whispered, I think the monster is at the bottom of Shady Lake, hibernating. And while he's down there hibernating, he's getting very, very hungry. So keep your eyes open, especially when the sun goes down, just like now. Suddenly, everyone heard a huge splash in the lake. It's the monster! Angie yelled. The kids all screamed and jumped up. They tripped over their stumps, bumped into each other, and fell in the sand. Run for the cabins, Buzzy yelled, barely able to keep from laughing. The kids shrieked and tore away from the campfire. Dink and Josh burst into their cabin and jumped into their bunks. They were followed by the 6 other boys, laughing and growling like monsters. "That was so cool," Campbell said. "But my Uncle Mickey told me that some story about the camp he went to. He said he heard it from his camp counselors when he was a kid. Buzzy, Angie, and Luke are having a good laugh down there now." "That's funny, Uncle Mickey." "But what made that splash?" Josh asked. "One of the counselors probably slipped away from the campfire in the dark," Campbell said. When Angie said now, Luke or Buzzy must have thrown a rock in the lake. As soon as Dink's heartbeat had quieted down, he grabbed his toothbrush and headed for the wash house. When he returned to his bunk, Josh was at his cubby, pushing things aside to find his own toothbrush. Dink kicked off his sneakers and flopped down on his bed. He picked up his Vermont book and began reading about white-tailed deer. Dink heard a scratching sound outside his window. When he turned, he saw Ruth Rose peering in through the screen. "What are you doing out there?" Dink asked. "I found it," Ruth Rose said. "Meet me around front under that big tree." "You found what?" Dink asked. Ruth Rose put her hand near the screen. With the light spilling outside, Dink saw it clearly. Resting in the palm of Ruth Rose's hand was a woman's ring. Ooh. Well, that's the end of chapter 4. There we go. Well, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this chapter. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.